I want to be the next SNL cast member, and here's why I should be a contender.
Hi, Lorne Michaels, I'm Jake Novak, and I know that you're feeling the heat because your roster lost Cade, Kyle, 80, and Pete.
That means you got an open seat, and I feel allowed to be feeling it, because when it comes to comedy songs, I kind of been killing it. See,
I'm not doing that. If you don't know about SNL, first and foremost, SNL stands for Saturday Night Live, and it's probably one of the, I don't know the stats, but one of the longest, running episodic, comedy shows. And it's not even just comedy, it's variety, but it's mainly a comedy show in the US, live from New York. It's Saturday night with its cold opens. We've got the new cast members dropped recently. Do I know them off the top of my head? No, but I shouldn't be expected to. Tommy Brennan, Jeremy Culhane, Ben Marshall, Cam Patterson, and Veronica Slowikowska. Veronica Slowikowska. It's me with names. Any name that's vaguely Polish, that's my kryptonite, And I don't think that's xenophobic. Hashtag cancel Ian Skinner. But the interesting part is I've got an application form here right now for the UK SNL because they're looking for new cast members. So I put myself forward. But let's answer firstly the question, what's so important about SNL? Why UK SNL is so good? And then why is Ian Skinner going for UK SNL? Any comedic actor that you know right now came from SNL or auditioned for SNL. Let's talk about names like Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell, Mike Myers, the guy who did Borat. That's just for me. That's because I'm just lying. Mike Myers, Will Ferrell, Shane, more recent names like Shane Gillis, who's popping off on Netflix comedy right now. But even guys like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey auditioned and never got SNL. He ended up on Mad TV and In Living Color. It's got such a rich history in American comedy, but not even just American comedy. It's always transitioned them through. Ambulance, can you please... Thank you. It's internationally known how important SNL is. So it coming to the UK it's perfect. We've got a new generation of comedians. And speaking of the new generation of comedians, we're looking at the new cast members. People like Cam Patterson, who I've been watching, doing stand-up sets in 1-minute increments on Kill Tony for the last couple of years. Veronica Slowikowska, she's been doing TikTok stuff for ages. She ended up on Netflix's Tires. Ben Marshall, he recently did contract work for SNL under Do Not Destroy. Do not destroy. Do not destroy. Do not destroy. But he's been kept on as a cast member. We've got guys like Jeremy, who's he's been doing stuff on Dropout TV, so college humor, which you never would see as an avenue. People used to think it's an alternative to SNL, but now it's almost like a landing strip to get to SNL. And Tommy Brennan, he does a lot of crowd work stuff on TikTok. Check these names out because get on the hype train before their first broadcast goes out because you're not going to want to miss it. But why is Ian Skinner talking about SNL and comedy so much? I used to be a sketch comedian. There was a point in my life in 2019 during the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, I was doing a sketch comedy show called The Dry Boys Spice Things Up. And it was one day from I think it was the last day of our Fringe run. It was a Sunday. And I had the option to either go for ICW tryout seminar or do my last show of the Fringe. And I chose ICW, and I think that's how we ended up here. But I'm still very interested. I've been loving sketch comedy since, I think my favorites have been, Whitest Kids You Know. There's, Tom Skerr on YouTube. Sketch comedy was so readily available. I loved Mad TV as well. Bobby Lee, Key and Peele. These guys, these names, they're just, I think it's just so important, and it's really catered to my humor. And I think it's probably why my humor is so cooked right now. But I think I have what it takes to be the next SNL cast member. Roll the song.
I want to be the next SNL cast member, and here's why I should be a contender.
I've literally got a notes app on my phone that is absolutely filled to the brim with stupid sketch ideas. Sketch ideas that some made to the Fringe, some I came up with afterwards, but look at that's probably not in focus. That's insane. Look at that. That's insane. You're insane, gold member. So I'm gonna just deliver out some of the sketches that I've written in my past. I'm literally just freeloading. I've not prepared any of these. I'm literally going through my notes app and just seeing what comes out. Some of these are stand-up bits that I've come up with, because I also used to do stand-up comedy. Insert clip. People are a bit like Tamagotchis. If they don't eat, they die. Oh yeah, guy who's first time trying BDSM stuff in the bedroom, trying dirty talk, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna throw you around. I'm gonna break your back. I'm gonna tie you down, and then you're gonna have to escape a hole in the ground while I destroy Gotham City." It's Bane. It's Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. A guy who's interested in the social aspects of drug culture. Like everyone else is, like everyone's like, maybe it starts off with like people smoking weed, but it's at the point where people are like shooting up heroin and meth, and the guy's there for the vibes. He's like, no, sorry, I don't need any. I'm just here for the aspects, you know. I just like hearing people's thoughts, you know. A guy saying, "I'm a cool narc." Listen, I'm not like I'm a cool narc, okay? Listen, like you can do drugs in front of me. I am gonna tell you, but I'm a cool narc, okay? I think this is a stand-up bit that I think is good, but I don't like. Maybe it doesn't hit for everyone, but imagine having to like work in like the Pornhub offices, right, and come up with new names for porn videos. You know, like the idea is like, well, gender neutral gangbang 4. It's weird because like it's not in relation at all to number 3, but the actress from number 2 is in it, but she was a therapist in number 2, but in number 4 she's a nurse. So I'm just like, I'm not sure what the continuity is, and there's no continuity, you know. I watch it for the plot, and the plot's just not there anymore. And just, like how like you can type in any assumption of words in relation to like physical like sex into a search engine, and there will be some variation of a video with those words in it. Like having to come up with new names, Jesus Christ. And especially it doesn't help that like some of the actors are like, you know, they're so popular. Again, it'd be like watching the Avengers, right? And then like you watch like the first one, it's like, oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, and then the next one it's like, oh, Tom Cruise is Iron Man, but Robert Downey Jr.'s playing Spider-Man. That's what porn's like. And it's got to the point where I saw a video once just called "Bitch Sucks Dick," and at no point in that 15-minute video was she a bitch. In all honesty, right? I think she was really nice. Chinese food. Who's Chinese? You know, like Chinese, like the possessive. You see, I know it's bad when behind the camera you're not laughing. This one just says, "Is Borat funny?" And I'm sure I wrote that, and yeah. A guy on a lad's holiday, and it's like the idea is that this guy's maybe like, oh, he's a little bit hungover, but no, it turns out he died last night trying to do a prank. They brought him back from the dead, and it gets into this weird subversive thing of like the idea that like, oh yeah, your soul's been like eternally tainted because you can't enter heaven now. You'll only end up in purgatory. You'll only end up in purgatory. And then they tap him on the dick, and he's like, well, you can still feel pain though. But they're like, lads, and he's like having a fucking crisis. Dracula's northern neighbors. This one I have a clip of because we made it into a video sketch of like, what if Dracula had northern neighbors?
Has he got an accent?
The accent!
I don't think he's got a job either.
Oh, is he on benefits?
Yeah, he's on the benefits, and yeah, he lives in a bloody castle.
Bloody castle. He's living in a castle while we're living in this shithole. We can't even afford 3 dressing gowns.
But we can't even afford 3 bloody rooms either.
Well, it starts off you think it's racist, but then it turns out they're talking about Dracula.
Bloody Dracula.
Bloody Dracula! Bloody Dracula. Literally, right now, he's biting that woman's neck. Wait a minute. Guys, you think he's Italian?
I've got a lot of ideas. I've seen a lot of SNL auditions. I've got a lot of credentials. And maybe I don't do really good impressions. I do a good enough Trump that like not a lot of people, not as good as mine, but it's passable. But that means I feel like I've got the credentials. I've done stand-up, I've done sketch comedy, I've got ideas, I think I've got the credentials. That means I should be filling out the UK cast application. So how about we do that together? Member of a team. Oh, yes. Yes. Maintain a professional in a high-profile environment. Having time cut last minute. No. Yeah. Background check. Pens down, application's done. Now all that's left is leaving it up to chance. But I hope you've enjoyed it. In all honesty, I really think that maybe there's something in the future for Ian Skinner in the comedy world, as much as the wrestling world as well. Because at one point, I made the decision to become a wrestler. But I feel like I've brought a lot of myself, my knowledge, my passions to here, to wrestling. And I feel like maybe that's why people enjoy the stuff that I do. Leave a comment. What was your favorite idea? Because I think I need the Geiger counter to work out what was the best idea that I had written down from my notes app. Here's one. Which sketch should we actually make into a sketch for Gaiden? Yeah? Shaking your head, but we're doing it.